Welcome back. Well, we all love to hit the open road with our bikes and really enjoy Mother Nature, but we have to deal with that age-old problem when we get back on what to do with our bikes. Are they cluttering your garage or your driveway? Look no further. I have the answer with SteadyRack, and David, I must tell you, this hits close to home. I know exactly what just a few bikes in a garage can create in regards to havoc, and this is really the solution. Tell us a little bit about your product.
Well, the whole idea came out of a similar situation that you're describing, where I couldn't park my car in my garage at home because my wife couldn't physically lift her bike up onto the conventional hook storage system that we had, and floor stands weren't going to work because there was not enough space. So I sat down with my father-in-law and we sort of brainstormed the idea. We wanted to come up with a rack and a storage system where you didn't have to lift the bikes up to get them into place, and that's how SteadyRack evolved.
You know, and this is really the perfect solution. Your wife demonstrated this to me earlier, effortless, and there's so many different types of applications, not just storing, but maybe if I want to work on my bike afterwards, this is a great place to do it as well.
When the bike's in the rack, it's nice and stable and secure. It's not easily dislodged. It's a snug fit. So yeah, you can do simple chores like cleaning the bike or, you know, touching up or detailing. While it's in the rack, it's actually quite handy for that as well. But maybe I can just walk you through how it works and we'll take it from there.
That would be great, thanks.
Okay, well, there are three main features of the system, and these three features are what we've worked on to resolve the issues with the conventional storage systems like hooks and floor stands. The first major feature of the rack is the ease of use. There's virtually no effort required to load and unload the bike. All it is a pushing and a pulling action. So by pushing on the bike, engaging the front wheel with the rack, I'm using the mechanical advantage of the wheel turning to actually do the lifting for me. And that works with pretty much any size or any weight of bike. As long as you can balance the bike on its back wheel, and with a little bit of practice that's actually quite easy. Even young children, anyone can actually now use the rack, which means that we don't have to have a single person in the household lifting bikes up and down.
That is fabulous. And then once it's up there, actually you have a couple of options as well.
Exactly. Once it's in the rack, it can pivot 180 degrees, so you can move it around, which allows you to push the bike up against the wall, and it uses a much less floor space than a conventional floor stand would. You can overlap the bikes, and they will go as close to the wall as the handlebars. You can have bikes very close together in a very short space, so you're using less wall space and less floor space now.
So this is great for the homeowner and for the bicycle shop.
For a bike retailer, it's absolutely ideal for workshop storage, for merchandising product, because it's easily accessible for their staff. It's easy to demonstrate bikes. It's easy to store bikes. When the bikes are overlapped like this, you can load and unload the bike at any angle. You don't have to have it square to the wall, which means you don't have to move a lot of bikes out of the way. When they're in the rack, the only contact with the rack is the front tyre. So the bike is protected. There's no risk of damage with metal-on-metal contact like you get with some conventional systems. The bikes are stable and secure. They don't swing around if you accidentally bang into them. So there's, again, you're reducing the risk of damage by contact between the bikes, which again is good for the homeowner, but it's also good for the retailer because, you know, if you're servicing a customer's expensive bike or servicing any bike in your workshop, you want to be sure that you don't get any scratches or damage to it, and this will virtually eliminate that.
Well, you know, our son has some high-end rims on his bike, and he's not real fond putting them on a hook, even though they're covered with rubber. And this is a perfect solution. As you mentioned, it's only touching the tire.
Absolutely, and that's a common problem that we've encountered with the hook system, and one of the things that we introduced a solution for in this system. We've designed the rack so that it covers almost all bicycles available on the market at the present time. It will take a tyre width of up to 3 inches or 75 millimetres. We've even had 85 millimetre tyres in the rack. The overall diameter of the wheel can be 26 inches or less, but we do have a new product in development that will complement this particular rack. This is what we're calling our classic rack. We have a new rack for fenders or mudguards. that will be released shortly, and that will accept bicycles with fenders and mudguards and tyre wheel diameters of 29 inches.
So you really have thought of everybody out there, and they're going to be able to have this great solution as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We think we've tried to design a product that has as universal an application as possible. Obviously, we're not going to cover every single kind of bicycle on the market, but the vast majority of bikes will be covered by the rack.
Now, David, you mentioned installation. How easy is it?
It's very easy to install. Here is the packaging. In the packaging, it comes with all the instructions on how to measure your bike and how to install it, as well as on the website there's an instruction video on how to install. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for people to install it. It comes with removable end caps. These caps just clip off, and there's fixings already predetermined for stud frame or masonry. It can be installed on any hard surface, any solid surface, and in fact we've had situations where we've installed the rack where we've installed a 4-inch square, 100mm square post, and then we've attached the racks to that post, so it doesn't even need to have a wall to be fixed.
Very cool. Now, I noticed as well you had the packaging there for maybe the retailer. You go into a bike shop and see this, you'll want to take it home, but you also have something else for the retailer here that will kind of describe this to the customer. Is that right?
Absolutely. This is a part of the merchandising kits that we provide. It's a bracket that mounts behind the rack, and we have designed some graphic cards to go into that bracket, so that the retailers can merchandise the rack or merchandise the bike that's in the rack.
Well, I tell you, with that said, right now, David, I know you have to have the attention of all of our viewers. What's the best way for them to learn more about SteadyRack?
Well, the best thing that you can do if you want to learn more about SteadyRack is go to visit our website, which is www.steadyrack.com. There are videos on the site that show you how the rack system works and also how to install the rack. There's a lot of information about the system on the website.
And if you have a family like ours with many different size bikes, many size tires, this is going to accommodate them all.
Exactly. You do need to position each rack on the wall to suit the wheelbase of the individual bike. But what we've found is that if you have a ground clearance from the rear tyre to the floor of between 1 and 3 inches, or in metric terms between 50mm and 75mm, then the bike is the function of loading and unloading is still quite easy, and we have found in our experience that the wheelbase of the road bikes doesn't vary that much, so you can mount them at a uniform height, but it's always wise to check your bike before you start drilling holes in your wall.
That is correct. Well, this is a fabulous idea for putting up our bikes, a big problem in garages like mine and like yours. David, thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome, Bill. Thanks very much.